just do it this way, whatever is available at that moment. And the good thing is that my husband loves it too. So,
Oh, good.
and he's not all vegan,
Hooray!
not even vegan. So it's a good food for us both.
That's
That is
awesome.
good. The thing I like about this steak is it's so hearty. I don't know if I've ever made a recipe that's so hearty as like cabbage steak.
Yeah.
That's really
hearty, I
amazing
can't cut
about
it.
your mom. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, that's so awesome that you inspired your mom to eat, healthier food. That's awesome. And Barb was saying on the comments that she had a friend message her that she's starting to eat more vegan foods because she saw a post. So she said it's a good reminder that people are watching, and I agree. Like sometimes we can get a little, frustrated when you see other posts, especially these mainstream posts. I just stopped reading the comments sometimes because it's like the ones that have like 5,000 likes, and then you look at the first comment and it's like steak, but not the kind Skye's eating. It's just like it's like, are we making a difference? And then you hear these stories and it's like it's so nice to be able to inspire people both for vegan and to eat healthier, and when you can get both it's even better.
Yeah, everybody makes a difference. Any
I
person.
like that. It's true.
Even a post, or it doesn't matter, you're in the grocery store, spark a conversation. Like,
I was talking to somebody actually the other day in the grocery store, and like he was asking me like, "Oh, are you gluten free?" Because I was looking at like some of the gluten free stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gluten free, mostly raw vegan." He's like, "Oh my gosh, like I couldn't do that. How do you get your protein in?" Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't worry about that. I just trust that the foods I eat will nourish me, and it does.
It's so interesting how when I feel like it's this one diet where you say it and people, it really makes them think, because a lot of the time the first thing I say is, I could not do that. It's like, and it always makes me think like, how many things, opportunities come by people's way and they're like, I can't do that. Whereas it's like, you don't have to do the whole picture. You can just try like including more fresh food.
Right.
Another big thing, what I've noticed as well, that people, they get intimidated to ask you for barbecue party. So ask you as a guest into their house, because they're so lost, like what to serve you. Like most of the time, that was my thing, But I said, you don't have to worry. I will bring my own.
Uh-huh.
And in the barbecue parties, they end up eating my food,
Oh, that's good.
which is so funny.
yes, that is awesome. I remember it was like one Thanksgiving I went home with all those oranges I mentioned. I don't know if I told you, but I picked up all those little cutie type oranges, or mandarins as you call them, and it was like everyone was sitting there eating oranges, and it was after they had already ate all the stuff that they already ate, because I'd gotten there after dinner. So, but it was still funny to look at like the pictures from that year of everyone holding oranges. Like, I wish that had been their whole dinner, but that's not gonna happen.
I think in my world, like for example, lots of people I met, or in between my friends or even my clients, they say, "Oh, if somebody really made for me, I would be raw vegan, or I would be vegan," So I think that the biggest challenge is for them is just like to be creative with the food, to create the foods. And to make them, because they're so used to old ways, like the meats and all the other stuff. And so for them to make even the salad, it would be a challenge. What should I put? It's tomato and cucumber? No, I said you can put like so many things, just you have to be creative. And I think it's more experimenting what people, they're afraid to, and they're not used to it.
Yeah.
And being around us, it kind of plants a little seed for them too, because I went to a bachelorette party, and it was a weekend party, girls' party. And I brought like a big, huge thing of green juice, and everybody wanted some. And so I put a little matcha in it for them. And I told my friend, next time I come to visit you, I'm bringing my juicer, and I'm going to make the juice fresh for everyone, because they were very interested in it, very interested in what I ate, very interested in trying everything. It was great. So it's like I felt like I was planting a seed, because you just never know. You never know if the people are going to look at you like you're weird, but they were so into it. They were so curious.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
most of the comments that I get is on my juicing. They want to know what's in the juice. How long does it take to make? At some point I want to do like a juicing, maybe like a juicing, like a 6-day juice fast, or we're all like a community
All
of
your friends.
fasting. Yeah. So we can all do it together,
That's
and new
so
people
cool.
can do it too.
Imagine the high vibe and party without all your friends and juice. Like, live at large.
Yes.
I got a juicer for my birthday,
Mm.
and it's not a typical juicer. It is a American-made 1957 Acme juicer, and
Nice.
it works so well. It was a
Mm.
gift, and I've been making. Hold on, I've been making carrot orange juice with lemon. So good. I just love that combination for some reason. Like carrot and orange juice is just
Mhm.
makes me feel so good and like hydrated, and just it's good for immunity, to not get sick. So it's all
It's
good.
so good for your skin, and your skin is so amazing. It's so beautiful.
Mhm.
I
It really
really,
is.
I really think, yeah, that, and I would drink orange juice all the time, not even fresh orange juice, but I've been doing the fresh orange juice with the fresh carrot juice. Ugh, it's just otherworldly. It's just so good. It's like drinking sunshine. Like literally, I call it my sunshine juice. Sometimes I add in like turmeric for even more like anti-inflammatory and like flavor. It's just like, I don't know. It's really good. I've been into that more, and I did I think, I don't know, I think Skye, you were saying that you did apple with lemon, and did you do celery? I can't do celery, but I did cucumber. That was what it was. Cucumber, apple, and lemon.
Yeah.
Is what I was doing for a while, which is really good too.
I think that gives people an idea, like that's what you were mentioning while people and me and Sky, we were just talking about the abundance thing. Like sometimes I don't think they understand that a lot of the stuff they already eat would be like raw vegan. So it seems like this mystery. So whenever we bring something around or we talk about what we do eat, which is why these are amazing, because it gives people an idea of like, oh, okay, this isn't so far out of my realm that I couldn't see myself doing it. So it just like, oh, I'm going to eat this and this, and they're like, okay, well, I could do that. And I think you're right, that's what people's biggest mystery is. It's so different from how they eat, but there's more in common than not, really, with eating healthy or vegan or raw vegan even.
But as a raw vegan or high raw vegan is you can taste everything because you're not full of like mucus and
Yeah.
acid and like buildup. So like as we can have, I could do a full live on the different tastes of lettuce and different times I've had salads and how when I like, especially if I want to hydrate, I do more like iceberg lettuce. And then I guess when my body wants to detox a bit more, I want all the bitters, like the real, like those purpley, bittery, and then generally it just likes the leafy greens, and then you've got like microgreens and you've got sprouts, you can sprout those, and like all of those to a raw vegan have so much flavor because we've worked on ourselves to heal ourselves so that we can taste things. Like when I think back to, and this is why my memory tells me when I used to eat the way I used to eat, is you're so unsatisfied because you're kind of choked up. So you need something really strong to like give you any sense of like distinction.
Mhm.
And I always think back as well how, and I think most people are like this, how if you bought the wrong, we call it tomato sauce, you guys call it ketchup. If you bought home in our household the wrong brand of ketchup, no one would touch it. It was like,
Mhm.
your brain
Yeah.
had to have its addiction. It's like you have to go out and buy. Whereas you bring home the wrong raw vegan veggie, and I'm like, woohoo, we're doing fennel tonight. Or I'm like, I need coriander, and they only have dill. I'm like, ooh, a dill creamy dip. Like I've never being faced with a raw food, unless, and technically I still want to eat the ones that are high histamine that I have sensitivities to sometimes, that I've gone, I don't like. Like, I know there's probably foods that most people just like one or two, but mostly I'm like, it's never like low vibe reaction. It's still like, okay, we'll do this. Like, it just keeps exciting me. And that blows my mind, but it's so hard to share with people who are not raw, that feeling.
It does. It's exciting. Like, it's like trying something new and really experiencing the taste of it without having to cover it up with, ketchup, for example. Like, all the stuff I've realized that we eat a lot of times is like we dip it in something, so we're not even really tasting it, right? Like French fries, I never had them without ketchup. I went to Ireland when I was like 19 maybe 18. It's like one of the only times I've ever been out of the country, and we found a McDonald's, and of course this is way before I was vegan or anything, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited they have McDonald's, but the ketchup was so different. The fact that you even mentioned that, it was like it didn't even taste like like a burger that we would have gotten, or fries or whatever. It was so wild, and everybody was noticing the ketchup that was with me, and it's like, that's interesting. I never thought of that, Skye.
Do you know what we used to do? Is ketchup at McDonald's, I think, it's called ketchup here. In most places you want tomato sauce and you get what is known as ketchup. And the McDonald's ketchup here, I think, is pretty much really American. And what I used to do, this is how bizarre, how weird. My sister and I used to get like drive-through, or someone will bring drive-through home through, and I'm like, don't get the ketchup and bring it home. You'd have to use whatever brand of tomato sauce I was apparently addicted to. I wouldn't touch, or I would, on the way out, if I had to eat it in the car, I'd make someone go through KFC, like Kentucky Fried Chicken, and get their tomato sauce. Because I would not touch, like, that's like, whereas now I'd be like so excited to try different fresh tomatoes. Like I'm even talking about here, like farmers markets or different shops, but like, imagine going to different people's gardens and being like, oh, because every tomato tastes different. That's the difference of raw foods, is every time you eat, it technically will taste different to the time before. Whereas when you eat the way most conventional people eat, you're literally eating a chemical concoction that's been repeated over and over again. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about raw foods, is you never know what you're going to get.
That is it. And there's so much variety and abundance.
Exactly. I think a lot of people, they turn their nose to like raw vegan food or just vegan food because it doesn't taste the same as like everything else, because like you said, it's all like made in a factory. It's supposed to be exactly the same. Like if you get like a fruit snack, for example, like fruit snacks all are going to taste exactly the same, but if you have a bowl of blueberries, they're not going to taste all exactly the same. Some might be more sour, some might be more sweet. But that's the beautiful thing about nature. Like, not everything is so monotonous and the same. It's how nature's supposed to be.
Well, isn't that why everyone's so bored and needs more and more addictions? Because the way the brain is actively seeking out like that beautiful, ripe, juicy fruit, all those tender greens, and the seeking out to have that sort of reward, instead of being like really dulled down by a lot of chemical concoctions on the shelf, and actively seeking out something more stimulating down that path. Like the way our brain is wired gets tricked into those sort of addictions.
No, because food itself, it's a drug. If we're talking this, is just like, it's a very light drug, and then stronger drug, and then stronger drug, and then we need all these additives, and then yes, as you said, Skye, we become numb. We become numb, and we need that stimulation. We need that serotonin, coming into us. So we need like more beautiful, more complex, more, putting like even let's say like even raw vegans or vegans, they start putting a lot of stuff in the food, even you have one bowl, it's like 100,000 varieties in that one small bowl, it's like, do we really need that, because what I've noticed when I do on the long fasts, and like let's say I don't eat for like 3-4 days or 7 days, and then I take the carrot, and carrot, it's like you take and eat carrot, and it's like so beautiful, and you can feel all the taste, and it's not only one taste of that carrot. And carrot is like eating one food, and it's so divine. I cannot even I cannot even give you that feeling, or explain that feeling. You eat
Yeah.
one tomato, and it's like, oh my God, it's so juicy, it's so tasty. It's and you don't need like 100,000 foods on your plate, on your plate. You know what I mean? It's just that when Skye said, when we're becoming numb, then we need stronger drugs.
But also,
Stronger
what's
medicine.
been numbing
Yes.
it? So the difference with raw foods is it naturally makes us feel alive, whereas the strong addictive foods have made us feel bad. So we seek out
Yeah.
deeper
Yeah.
and deeper and
Yes.
deeper. Whereas, and I'm the same, Gabriella. When I came off, the most recognizable was when I came off my grapes. Like, I think I was pretty sick when I came off fasting for 3 days. But when I came off grapes, so my taste buds had only had grapes for 3 weeks. And then I remember having some arugula and a bit of avocado and being like, oh my gosh, this is so lovely. But then 3 nights later, I made one of my salads that had like the garlic and the lime and the chili and carrot noodles, and I ate it. My brain would not stop pinging. So as much as I was still present, because it was all very fresh food, it made me sit there and think, far out. No wonder people who fast and go back to addictive foods must get even more addicted, because it's all about the rise. Okay, so if you go from being fasted to having really addictive foods, is that high we then actively seek out because it's in our nature. That's the difference I find with raw foods, is I don't ever feel like I have to have something. If something else is presented, I'm okay.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I have ideas in my head of like what I want, or a flavor or a texture that I want. But if I have something at home, like this morning, I need to go grocery shopping, right? So I have a bunch of frozen fruit. I just made a bunch of frozen fruit. I made a green smoothie, and it was amazing. It was phenomenal. I feel like the way that you respond to your situation, rather than like your situation. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like how your mindset is, how you go into something.
And it's not about the mindset. Your gut really regulates your mindset. It's your microbiome which lives in your stomach. This is what gives you the message, what sends you the message what you might want. I want this or I want that. It's not about that you want. It's what somebody who lives there inside your tummy wants something.
Yeah, but addiction's quite complex in that it's not just what's our microbiome now. We've already got conditioned pathways. So it's not just a feedback response. It's also a feed forward response that we're getting. So like my response to hamburgers may not be the same as Marabella's, even though our microbiomes may be similar from what we might have been eating. Because Marabella has these memories as a child of, I'm just making this up here, of Sunday night hamburgers, right? So when she has like an emotional response to something, she can think she wants a hamburger, but really she wants what her grandmother made her, like at that time, the sunny night, that feeling of being connected. And that's where addiction for people gets complex. But what I like about raw food is presence. Is the only thing that keeps me present enough to not have PTSD and not have too many of those tendencies. And this is totally my journey, is fresh food. As soon as even I start having too many condiments or dehydrated food, is how much I start seeking. I call it dopamine seeking. I just start very quickly seeking things out. And I always come back to asking myself why. And it's because I'm not present. And each person's on their own journey, but for me, I have to stay present. All my past seems to consume me.
Yeah, definitely. Like any food, it's related to your emotional body. That's the first thing. It's not like that. It's not so much of the physical as it is emotional. It's your memories, it's your traumas, is your how you feel now in this moment as well. You will start craving something, right? Emotionally, if I feel sad, I tend to eat this type of foods. If I feel aggressive, maybe I need something more heavier. If I feel, it just depends like what you feel in a moment. And are you able to control your emotions, or emotions will control you and your choices? This is it's about that, I think.
That is true. And that's why I'm glad we're doing that talk next time on the 7 pillars of health, because I swear when I was at one sec here, when I was at my sickest, is all those 7 pillars of health were never ever being met, right? And they don't even have to be, on the exercise level and the fresh air level and the nature level extreme, right? But none of them were being met, and yet I'm being placed on a lot of medication. And I just think, like, medication can have a place if somebody's really sick, of course, like it's going to help. If it's going to help you stay alive, that's what it's there for. But when people are on multiple medications and not meeting the basics of life, of course you need something, like, but maybe what you're taking is not what you need, right?
Yeah.
So let me go back to some of these here. These comments. Oh, I love that yellow summer. Hello. I spy a cabbage in the kitchen. We'll definitely try the cabbage steak. I hope you enjoy. And I did see people talking about this in the comments. And I think here about how Barb, a friend, messaged her to say she's eating more vegan foods because she saw a post. And we've never spoken about veganism. And I say this so often, I feel like my light changes or affects more lives than me going, you're bad, you're doing this, you need to eat that. Like, be the light, be the sparkly light, right?
Definitely. I love that.
I have heard lately
More
to
about
keep.
inspiring, yes, not telling people what to do, because everyone has their own choices. But if they get inspired by you, and your lifestyle and your energy, that's the way to go.
Yes. Keeping that good positive energy, right? That good vibe, it rubs off. It spills over sometimes to people. I love that.
And it's so needed right now. I've had 2 people come up to me in the last week and ask me to post more, because I've kind of backed off on posting, and we're needed in the world right now, especially with all the things going on. Our light is needed. Just another way to share the light, whatever that is for us, is definitely needed.
I feel the same. I've gotten messages too, like about me posting, or like asking when I'm gonna post, or just, oh, like, what do you eat in a day, like la la la. And sometimes you need a little break, but it's nice to hear that. It's nice to know from other people, just that affirmation too. Sometimes it's a good reminder that what we do and what we post does make a difference for
Yeah,
other.
agree. When
Yes.
someone says thank you for what you do, and thank all you ladies for what you do too, but it's just means so much just to hear it. Like, you don't need to, have anything monetary. Sometimes it's just, people are there and looking, and but like taking that extra second to comment sometimes on someone's post can also make the difference in their day, I think.
Yes, for sure.
100%.
Yes.
And you can feel a little disheartening sometimes but I always have to remind myself that the people that need me are usually not the people commenting. As in,
Yeah.
the people that need to hear my words have probably got me on in the car, or they're making a salad and I'm on in the background. And later on, I hear from people saying that, whereas the people who are like, you're dumb, I ate a steak, I'm on the toilet, like weird things, you're like, they're really not the people I'm like talking to. There's people who will come and see this later. And I just constantly remind myself.
There's always going to be those people in the comments, Skye. The negative
Oh,
people,
there is.
the people that want to try to bring you down. And
Actually, I think of you, Miranda, because you always tell me we're detoxing them. We're
Oh,
like cleansing them and they're vomiting out rubbish.
so
that's good.
all of us are cleansing agents to the world. You know how fruit fruit exposes what's going on in the body in the gut microbiome. So we are just exposing what's going on in people's heads. So it's okay if they either, they're either drawn to you and inspired by you, or they're going to deflect or defend themselves or do whatever in any way that they seem to be, just not good. Negative vibes.
That's right. I am sorry, I'm a little distracted here because I'm trying to show some good that somebody's been doing and maybe here I've got it here. So let me bring this up. Continue. Okay, here we go. Let me bring this up onto the screen for a second. Share screen. So if you didn't know, I don't know if you can let me. Here we go. Add to screen. There, if you guys didn't know, beautiful Marabella, I've gone on to this is Apple Music here, has an album. Does everybody know this?
I definitely am going to check it out. Awesome.
So,
yes, and it's also on Spotify as well. And
I
on
tried
YouTube
to pull it
too.
up on Spotify. It wouldn't let me. Let me bring it came up here. You are here. Oh, wait. I put you up here. There you are. All that came up was all playlists. Your music doesn't actually come up. Oh, here you are. You're under Elizabeth.
I just found you.
Look at that.
That's
You're
amazing.
so inspiring.
Yay!
Nice.
Yay!
Only fruitarians are on Apple Music, is that right? Oh no, they let everybody on the Apple. I love this. I love the the cover too. It's so nice.
Let me drop the link in the comments to anybody who
Thank you.
wants to listen to this because I think it's so inspiring. So search up Marabella Elizabeth Muncey.
Yes.
Any of the music platforms, but let's put this down the bottom. That's I love that your heart guides you and you just go follow it.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
So let me see. There we go. We can pull this down now. You're very inspiring. And yeah, Bob said, unfortunately, the dark is repelled by the light. And thank you, definitely an inspiration. Thank you, Yellow Summer. But yeah, we have to remember that when we go out and do our light work, right? We're going to stir up the dark.
Yes.
Right. Well, you only know the light exists because of the dark, right? You can't have one without the other. The contrast is not like a good thing, but it's a good thing to have that contrast because you're then aware of what you're doing. I don't want to be considered negative or whatever, but then again, people, they only see what they want to see. Just because I say something doesn't mean that was the intention. Some people can absorb and react the way that they feel.
Right.
Kind of like projection.
They have a choice. They can choose to see it the way that you said it, or they can take it the way that they want to. And sometimes they're afraid. They want to be the light, but they don't know how. So the more of us out there, the more people will gravitate to, whereas somebody may just absolutely be drawn to Miranda and not to me at all, or vice versa. And so all of us have a special gift, and different people will be attracted to that and make it easier for the light to be accepted.
Definitely.
We're not everybody's cup of tea.
Right. But somebody else can be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's right. And
Skye,
I just think yeah.
I was just going to say, I have to go to another Zoom call soon. So if I jump off, I didn't want you to think I was being rude or just, didn't like it. Someone, oh, I didn't like that phrase. I'm out of here now. So just in case, it's her 6-month book celebration. So it started a little bit ago. So I'm just going to say hello. But I just wanted to thank you guys so much. I really always enjoy your food and your wisdom and your amazing attitudes and just all the positive vibes you guys give. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Oh, we love
you.
having you, JJ, and we love your puns.
Yes.
Let us know if you have any questions, right? I had to do it again. I have to think of a new one for next time now. It's going to be played out.
Let us.
All right.
I'll catch up with you later. Wait, we talked about ketchup too. I could use
Oh,
that. I
we
tried.
did. Good job.
I would see what raw food does. It electrifies the brain. So you're like thinking on, what are they called? Like,
Fruit
what is
puns.
it called? Fruit puns. Like things like double entendres and stuff start shooting out your mouth. You electrified the brain. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring. I saw this comment too. So about some people are very lazy. They don't want to chop. So a huge part of like realizing that the raw foods would make me well was realizing that I was going to have to claw my way out of the absolute hole I was in. And a huge helper for me was to start, because now I could get up. It's like that's what happened the first time I got well after I'd been so sick, is you don't know what to do with yourself. And you can see how people fall into addictions or end up back sick again because their brain is very wired to be sick. But I realized standing in a kitchen for at least half an hour a day was going to benefit me in multiple ways. One, I mean, at that time I couldn't get online very much anyway and read. But for people who are spending a lot of time online or have addictions, you're better off to stand up in a kitchen and chop your salad. Fruit's easy, right? Or a smoothie's much easier. You just put it in and blend. But like, you're better off. You've got, like, part of the healing journey is retraining all your problems out, like that they're not the default you. You've got to create a new default you. And I remember knowing that, or feeling better, the more I went for walks or just sat in nature and started chopping my salad or went in the ocean or just sat in sunlight. And what I kept coming to me was all these years I was sat in therapy. And I felt like when I reflect back, I was just really cementing my problems in my brain. That the key for me is creating a new self, like as in a self you always wanted. And I've just find the doing in nature, and all of that is nature, chopping up fresh food, being outdoors and walking or being with flowers, seem to literally create neural pathways above the pathways, the denser ones, as in like they were the ones which my brain felt comfortable defaulting to. And as someone with PTSD, I needed that. But this comes up in all of us, no matter where we talk. We're like, we got out in nature and felt not like ourselves. Why do I feel younger? Nature. What healed me? Nature. And it's like, it's so magical. It's why they're little magical fairies, right?
Yeah.
And she says they don't want to chop. And there's something for me anyway. There's something about, so I was taking the lazy way out and buying my juice pre-made. However, when I make my own juice, it's like the start for the day. You know how they say if you get up and you make your bed, then everything else flows because you've already done something that you can check off your list. Well, not only does like making my own juice give me that energy, but when I'm touching the vegetables, I'm chopping them, I feel good. Like that's like walking in nature for me. When I'm actually making my juice, I like just touching the vegetables and cutting them. I feel so amazing. Like there's just something about it, something so magical. So like in that chop is shifting my energy, like changing my whole outlook on the day. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to make juice. It's so much work. But then as soon as I get going and then I put some good music on and just, I don't know, everything lifts, feels so good.
And it's not only that, it's like by making it and being very present and conscious, you can really program your food.
Oh, that too. You're right. Yes.
It's like, for example, when I make food for my husband, whom I really dearly love, I always programming his food, to be successful, for him to be healthy, to be happy, to be, open, to have more opportunities, and this really, really works.
Love it.
Thank you for that reminder. I make my husband's lunches and I'm going to start doing that. I've never like made his lunch and thought about that as I'm making it. I'm going to thank you so much for that. That's amazing.
I love that.
Do you want to know another thing about that? A lot of people, they don't want to do that because they don't want to live in the present. Most people are living in the past, living in the future, but when you're cutting vegetables or when you're out in nature, you're forced to live in the present. You're forced to be mindful and aware. So I think a lot of people are living in like fight or flight mode. They're always raring to go, don't want to sit down in the quiet and do this to then, make their day a little more, relaxing their nervous system. A lot of people's nervous system, they're dysregulated, so they don't want to sit in quiet and cut vegetables. They'd rather scurry out the door and go through the drive-through to get, pre-made food because they're stressed or have high blood pressure or something. That's one thing I noticed. I like to be mindful. I like to sit and cut vegetables or cut fruit. I like that process that, like you said, programming your food.
Yes.
Just feeling more connected to it is important. And I think most people feel disconnected to what they consume.
I think it's not only the food, it's like the feeling connection, whatever you do during the day, it's like by making food, by drinking, by even being mindful and present while you're eating. How many people, they eat their dinners and they watch Netflix, or they're distracted into some conversations. They don't really like, taste the food and feel the food and chew the food and feel all the flavors, what's going on. And, even like, for example, when I eat food, I can feel the energies of the people who was making the food, whatever. I will go to the restaurant, this is attributes so much to your life, how you do things. Are you mindful and present in that moment when you're doing, even washing dishes after making the food, right? Talking to people, being present, going into the nature, being present, not scrolling your Instagram and making photos all the time, but just being and feeling and hearing and smelling and using all the senses in that moment and how to say that word, and fixating that energy what goes through you in that moment. This is present moment. I think that a lot of people as well, they don't even know what the present moment is. The present moment, I always say, the present moment is not somewhere there, where you're like, the present moment is feeling with your body, because only the body, it's what's present. Everything else is, I called meta world, which is, but I think present is more. It's how to say, it's you can win more by being present rather than being in meta world.
Because the only power is here now.
Exactly.
And when my son was little, well, I used to meditate, but then when he was little, sometimes I couldn't meditate because I was taking care of him. So an exercise to be present when you're preparing vegetables is just, I'm cutting carrots. I am cutting carrots. I'm here now. I'm cutting this carrot. And you're right here. You're cutting carrots. I'm cutting carrots. And that is being present. It's as simple as that. Brings you right into the moment. You can get fancier with it, but you can just simply say, I'm cutting carrots. Now I'm cutting celery. And you're right here, right now.
Recording that feeling. How does that feel? How do you feel when you cut the carrots? What do you smell? What do you hear while you cut the carrots? So it means like I'm using all the senses, fixating all my senses through my body, because the body only what's present. So it means I'm bringing my presence through the matter, through here, and being present, So that's very, very important. And I think the quality of life, once you learn that step by step, it starts changing big time.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings recently has been, what I had to work out for myself was anytime I did work or go to university, I was literally stressed out using coffee to get through, and then come home, not that there was Netflix back then, but watching TV, quickly microwave a dinner. What I had to learn about the chop, the chopping of the salad and the sitting in nature was what I bring to myself, I bring to others and this world. So essentially, people in this world should want me chopping and should want me in nature, because when I come now as a health coach, what I had to learn was you guys are getting that same precision and that same care and that same love. It was a delusion of mine to think that self-destruction at work by addictive tendencies was actually letting me be the best at my job. You know, the actual best that people were getting at the job was the same as me throwing food in the microwave and crashing out in front of the television. Do you see what I'm saying? So now when as a health coach, because I've worked so hard on myself, when I show up as a coach or when I show up on YouTube, you guys are getting that version of myself who's worked on me and who cares and who loves and who wants the best for not just me, but other people. And it's like the whole package. I used to think that you just could apply yourself somewhere and destruct somewhere else. But when I reflect back, I was consistently constructing, deconstructing. But the other thing I wanted to bring up is the delusion I also had was, and I don't blame society, it's just the way my journey turned out, was how much I felt the way society is built. It really is built that naturopathic medicine holds not even a tiny candle to Western medicine. Western medicine is where everything gets invested, every study goes. This is like through the eyes of somebody growing up, right? When you're very sick, you need Western medicine. And so I feel like that delusion, like I've literally been on so many medications and so many surgeries, it doesn't hold a candle to nature. But we as a society truly think, well, I don't think we think that way here after we've been through our own journeys, but growing up naive, it really, all we're told at school, we're never told about naturopathic doctors. We're told about, people who have done PhDs at universities like Stanford and Harvard. They're the ones you want to listen to, and what I had to know, and what I think is, it's very hard for people who are in dense versions of themselves right now to understand, is you have everything you need. Like you can, like if I had everything I need, like with where I was, everyone has everything they need. It's just restraints that seem to be on ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else has been coming up for people lately? Besides, we spoke about fairies. Authenticity, yeah. It is hard in this world. It truly, like, when to be your authentic self in a world which is constructed and like, you're supposed to have plastic surgery, and you're supposed to have the best outfit and the best car, and that deems you a successful person, is to say, hey, I'm going to show up today as my calling.
Can be just, fearlessly you and purely you, and not have to rely on like any exterior thing to tell me what I am, or like, a lot of people lack like integrity. Like they just kind of change with the trend, or change with what's convenient, or what everyone else is doing. But you got to have like, your firm belief, your firm foundation, and the simple things in life most of the time is the answer. To be present, to be in nature, to be with other people, to be in sunlight, to eat the simple plant foods. It's hard to explain to people that are so consumed and honestly somewhat brainwashed by this idea that like pills and this and all these things are needed, when you really just need to look within. Really, first step, just try to live in the present for one day. Write down your thoughts, or just be in your thoughts. A lot of people don't want to think about their thoughts, or then they emotionally eat, do all these things in the exterior to try to give themselves and fill up a void.
And that's why we trigger so many people when somebody shows up in their like t-shirt just doing their thing online. It bothers people because they've spent a lot of time and money and self-destruction, and that's why we detox them. That's why they get mad, guys, because we're happy. People, look, I actually said to Jillian the other day, I spent a day after having my iron infusion just like chilling out, and I watched a lot of YouTube, and my conclusion was people views an algorithm like misery. Like I never noticed it before. I'm over here in my happy corner, and then I look at YouTube as a whole, and it's like all these like reaction and response videos, people just tearing at each other. And I was like, I don't think that's the way. I think that's why it's so difficult. We've got to be we are the minority of love, but we're going to shine bright.
Very well said.
I've got some comments here, especially I like this one, Miranda. Look how relaxed Miranda's kitty is. Also want to say hi to Koala Mama and Tessa that were there.
Oh,
He loves to cuddle.
cute.
I love that.
I might go soon, guys, because my throat hurts.
You've done well. You've done well. We're very grateful that you still showed up.
Yes.
I'm grateful for this amazing conversation, and just, it's nice, and we should do it more often.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like, and people probably see it, is you cannot replace that, what happens over time as we all keep showing up together. You feel so familiar and so comfortable, and the bonds just get stronger. And so everyone who's watching gets even better conversation. And I love that.
I noticed, even from the last time, the comments on here is really nice, and it helps us with our conversations too. The people that are commenting, they're sparking conversation and thought-provoking, conversation starters within us, which is nice, and I'm glad to see that. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna go.
All right, rest up, Miranda.
Bye.
Bye, Miranda.
Bye.
Really nice to see you guys and all the food you guys made. So I'll see you soon.
Feel better. Love
Bye.
you.
Love you.
Bye. Yeah, just
I'll
back
have
to
to go soon too.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll have a client in an hour, so I have to.
Should we
Sure.
end?
Just back to the television thing is, I think everyone has to understand, I feel like for 15 years, was the most intense part of my healing journey. I was literally on a bed or a hospital, which is the most ungrounded. Hospitals are the most, they're supposed to be the most healing, but they're the most ungrounded place you can be in, because there's just chemicals and machines. There's so many machines around you. And plus then in there, I'm on all that, and then I'm watching television and smoking. If I could get myself, I would make effort to move just outside or near an exit. And usually in Australia, even when they changed the smoking rules, I didn't care. Most of the time I was out with a drip in my arm. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But back to how toxic that is, how ungrounded I was by the time I found nature. Well, the first time I found nature was when I had that break with reality, and I'm in the garden playing with flowers and touching things, because it felt so beautiful coming off the back of that toxicity. I noticed as well I can't watch a lot of television because it does that to me, as in I don't come away and feel good. And that's why I'm saying, I then think back, how many years did I just lay there? That's all I could do. Is I must have felt terrible back then. Now I feel my best. Raw foods inside of me after I've run and just jump in the ocean. That for me is my tuning. And I do believe I have a bit of my brain needs the extra boost of dopamine every few days just because of what I've been through. I think that's why it kind of just restructures and helps me a lot. I know a lot of people with trauma do a lot of running, but there was another one about the television here too.
And Skye, that gives you so much compassion for other people and where they're at. You're super compassionate for where each person is. And you're not judging or saying, do it this way, or this is the best way. You listen to where they are respectfully. And I super appreciate that.
Oh, because I look at the older versions of me, which are in so many reels and come up so often, and she may have responded to, just say someone turning up for an angel turning up for 10 minutes every morning with a green juice and some love. I tell you what she wouldn't have responded to: somebody turning up yelling at her that she was not doing well enough, that she was not a good enough vegan, that she was not. That is actually making me feel a bit nauseous now. But just 5 minutes might have been, not even the green juice, maybe just some extra love. What love can do to a person, even if their response is toxic and seems, I promise you, every version of myself before this version here would have maybe changed, because it's very hard to change somebody. A little bit of love can change the world in many ways. And there's also a post on my story today, interesting you say that, but that's what you're like, Marabella, about saying that each person I meet is just a different version of myself. And I put, make sure you be kind. Like every person who shows up, I imagine that it's just a different timeline me. Like it's literally every person is me, including animals. They're just on a different timeline that we don't understand as humans. And that this person would need love. And that doesn't mean I'm perfect. Like I've said to you guys this past week, having that bioidentical hormone change, I notice when I look over lives that I'm like snappy, and like I don't like that in myself, but it's just it's a transition thing, right? But like how much love you can give, and the love can't come from empty space. It has to come from an overfilling cup. So a lot of it, that work I do on myself, once it overflows, I get to then do lives and these podcasts and parties and all that sort of thing.
Yay.
So
Yeah, and this is very important as well, like what we talked about, being present, and we talked about that what we're sharing, right? We go, people, they go to work, they hate, you know, people, they eat bad foods, they don't even feel, you know, the taste of it, and this is what we go out there and we share this, you know, but we share always from the minus. We share always we have to, I need to, not from I want to, not because, you know, I have so much that I have, you know, I want to share, I want to be that inspiration, I want to be that better person, right? It's just because like we learn to be how to say, we learn to be, and we've been taught, you know, to do out of need, out of you have to, out of, you know, like, oh, I'm not comfortable, or I'm not being, you know, I won't be good, you know, if I won't do this or I won't do that. I always say to people, you have to do it. It's just only from the place I want. If you really want to, you just go and do it. If you have to, it means you're not supposed to, because that energy what you share from the you have to, it's not going to be abundant, and it's not going to do any good for that other person.
You couldn't say it better, because what people don't understand is forcing someone into being, just say you do some sort of scare tactic and someone decides they're going to become fruitarian or raw vegan. It will not last if the decision comes from fear. That's what people scaring people into things don't understand. They may push through 3 months, 6 months. What I believe is sustainable is somebody might be an alcoholic. They might be having just toxic food. Maybe the first step they take is to stop alcohol. Do you know how hard I've been there? You know, how hard just that one decision is for that person. And imagine then being yelled at for not being, I don't know, for putting something in the wrong trash, for not being vegetarian yet, for not being whatever they're not doing yet. But the person is really working through something. And I believe that every step we take opens the next door. So like I believe that I got to being a raw vegan because I was a paleo, because I was a cooked vegan and the junk food vegan, and then the whole food vegan. And then you take one of those out, and I didn't learn lessons to open the next door to get to the next level. And that's kind of how ancient societies talk, right? We don't get keys to the next level until we've actually accomplished something on that level. So don't ever think that this toxic space and you're just going to now eat apples. You've missed all the lessons that you have to learn and all the keys you have to collect to open and travel up to be, if that was what you were destined to be on this plane right now. And it's like wherever somebody's at, the love you show them may be the reason they walk through the next door and become the vegetarian and then become the vegan. And that is sustainable. Like I can stay doing what I do now because I learned many lessons along the way. And it was hard work, especially going paleo, because technically what paleo was no processed food. That was like a step for me back in 2018. Really, it was, it was fresh foods, nuts, seeds, a meat dish at night. but nothing from a packet, like nothing store-bought, which, so you don't realize how much of your life is consumed by that. Am I a bad person for not even being vegetarian then? In somebody's eyes, maybe, but I promise you, love would have helped me. People who loved me in the journey would have been inspirations to get me to the next level. And I think that's just what we want, something sustainable.
Yeah, I think it's important not to overwhelm yourself while you're going to this path, because it could be in the beginning, very overwhelming just to go from the meat eater and alcohol drinker, and smoker just to be a raw vegan, right?
Right.
And it's not always going to be the sustainable, I have many clients who comes and we talk about like changing not only the food, we're changing the washing powder, dishwashing liquid,
Oh,
toothpaste, your
yes.
soap, your shampoo, a lot of
Mhm.
stuff very overwhelming to that one person who has to change many, many things at once, And I always say, just one thing at a time, one thing at a time. You start buying this toothpaste, and then when it's finished, you buy the same toothpaste, and then next month you start buying the dishwashing liquid or washing powder or shampoo, just different things, one step at a time, one small step towards the health, right? And just concentrating and focusing, not on your disease, not on your how you feel
Yeah.
bad, not on I'm poor me, or what it is, what it is, inspires you, what it is makes you happy, what it is you can change today, what thoughts, what products, what you
Yeah.
use, because everything what's in your electromagnetic field, comes as information, goes through you, right? It's all matters, it all matters, it all gives you that, it's like, let's say you are in the high vibration, you just add high vibrational food, right? But I will go and use the toxic toothpaste, right? And my vibration, it's already like tuck, goes down, right? Then I need it's like a game, with the vibrations, with
It
the
is like a
frequency,
game.
going
Mm-hmm.
from down to up, down to up. And there is another thing, is just like your consciousness, on what level your consciousness is open, right? How wide, how, because I always say we all in different classes, right? Somebody could be like in the first grade and somebody on the 12th grade. And as Skye said, you cannot go from the first grade to the 12th grade. You have to go through all your lessons step by step, picking up the keys, picking up that information, for you to grow to be on the 12th grade one day, and that's a beautiful
That's
journey.
exactly what. Yeah.
And this is what
It's
it's all about. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being, oh, I have this, I have. It's about experiencing your journey, evolving and growing up from this point to that point. And that journey, what counts.
yes. It's like the feelings, emotions, memories in your journey, your trauma, what you've been through, no one else feels. You feel that 24 hours a day. And so if you try and make change based on someone else, you're only in it for not even half a split second versus what you're carrying. And it has to be about you. And there's this beautiful story here. I just want to read this. I love this. So Sasha Joy said, got back to eating raw vegan after years of eating cooked, and wow, my body is just glowing up. No idea why raw seems to be less of a topic now than years ago, but I'm glad I found my way back to it. I actually think it's because it's not conducive to causing drama. You've got all these spiritually enlightened people, and that's not drama causing for YouTube. Like when it was viral, it was like only trauma causing or like drama causing because it was so different. But then when everyone's happy and enlightened, yeah, I believe that algorithm isn't built for it. But I'm glad you're here. So she says, like, this is my best self, and I don't care how many or how few people are into it. I feel like I shifted into a completely different life. It's so deep. So glad to see others on a similar path. We're so proud and so happy.
Yay! Good job, Sasha Joy. That's amazing.
Yay! I love that. And yeah, I just can't express in how many words that leveling up thing. It's like I literally feel like the learning of the chopping of the salad, I'm not allowed access to the next levels of raw vegan consciousness until I've actually, and it's not about something, a construct, it's about my soul. My soul has to learn how to nourish, on some sort of level. And, at once I got enough of the chopping and the buying of the fresh foods in, it opens up, like Sasha's saying, in gifts we can't imagine, like as in almost like unhumanly gifts that I had not seen on television or whatever. Like the thing for me was, it was spring, as you've heard. I've been in a bedroom for a long period of time. So I walk outside full of raw foods. And if you know, the universe as a raw food, it sings. But I've been in a room for a long period. So it's like chirping, plus it's spring. And I'm now living by a beach. And I'm like, oh my God, what a gift. And then the moving and the respecting of nature, I feel, is like another key. And then what Gabriella's saying is, I slowly got rid of and changed over everything. But each of these was not all at once. Like they were in that first year of being like, right now I buy a deodorant, which is toxic. And now I buy a bamboo toothbrush. Like when my toothbrush ran out, I'm like, now you buy a bamboo one. And like, even with clothes, is I'd shop at vegan shops now. And like, it didn't just happen because I knew from my past that if I try do everything at once, and I always say this, is when you go raw vegan, is the people that worry me the most are the people that show up and they're like, oh, I've just seen every podcast and I've just bought a dehydrator, I've just bought a blender, I've just sold my oven. It's like, it doesn't work like that. Like that doesn't get you anywhere. What does is the chop, the sitting with yourself. It's all now the non-materialistic things. And when you see that and can understand that, that's like a key that I'm always like, you got to study it and you got to know it. And I've got to buy the top course and I've got to buy this and I need to buy that. And it never lasted because I put my energy into the wrong things once again. The energy finally had to go, right, you actually have to stand there. You have to order the food. You have to sit in, you have to actually like do the natural stuff. You can't think now once again that you're going to heal yourself naturally with a whole lot of like where your consciousness has gone to the wrong things.
Yeah, it's like step by step. And then like for me, when I did a juice cleanse, and then I was thinking about what I was putting in my body, then I was thinking about what I was like washing my body with. So I ended up using baking soda as like soap, and it was very detoxifying and taking off the dead skin cells to my skin. And as you go little by little, step by step, and you feel the difference, then you start thinking about other things like, oh, I'm eating so healthy, but what kind of fabrics am I wearing? What's this article of clothing made out of? What kind of toothpaste am I using? It comes. What kind of laundry detergent am I using? What am I watching on TV? Or watching something and thinking, wow, what am I watching? Like all those things come about step by step, not all at once, but little by little.
They do. And then I love the memories of that. I can't express how I feel the first year raw vegan was the longest. I can't even say the hardest in terms of how hard my life was before, but the most rewarding thing I've ever done for myself in my entire life. There is no, I haven't had kids, so maybe that trumps it. But at the end, when it was going to be my 41st, I think I said this recently, and mum and dad are like, do you want to have the 40th you never had? I was like, no, I want a raw party. People can come and eat cooked food and I'll do a couple of raw things, but what I accomplished in 1 year, I haven't done anything like this. Like I'm not just pain-free and disease-free. I'm thriving. I'm like more of a normal person than normal people. Like this is like got to be celebrated. I was like, so if you're thinking of undertaking it, yes, there will be hard parts, but anything worth doing isn't supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? This is what inspires us to do it, right? We've inspired ourselves to even do parties like this because it's so amazing. And be your own cheer squad. You're allowed to be like, I'm doing this, I'm amazing, because you're in your own head most of the day. And a lot of the times I've had to do that is sometimes like no thoughts of going off it come up as much for me as you're going to keep going. Like you're just going to keep going. Like life isn't always meant to be easy. You're just going to keep going. And never has this lifestyle let me down in any way. As long as it's not committing to raw foods or committing to something external, it's committing to me. So I'm trying to recommend if you're thinking of doing this, or you're already vegetarian or whole plant food and you've been thinking about this for a while, it will be that first year it felt really long, but I think also because I had to restart my life, everything was brand new for me. But it sounds like everyone's restarting their life.
Mm-hmm. Perfect
for too. Like she feels like she's got
new
a new life,
moon,
right?
restart.
So I just saw this Yellow Summer. I love this stream. Down to basics, consistently getting results and moving forward. Great motivation. Yes, because I actually feel like the thing doing it, and JJ says this, it's not the food that's the problem, it's the mindset. And I think Jeanette says it too. We're like battling the mind always, not so much like the food or the choices we make. They can all feel good, but it's all those patterns in the mind. And I think that's really important, is we be our own cheer squad. And when we're not our own cheer squad, we jump on a podcast, we jump out in nature, because we want to be high vibing.
Yes.
So that's amazing, Skye. Thanks for saying it for it's true. So you guys basically get from me what I used to stay raw, to change my life, because as you've heard in this talk and from other people as well, is the way that society constructs us to get through is what I was saying before about the coffee. Whereas most of society is taught, whether they're a mother, a sister, a carer at work, is you've got to stress yourself to the max and put all your effort into something which yields you nothing. You think it yields you, all it yields you is a paycheck, but you never truly find your purpose. Once I started to invest in myself, and a lot of millionaires and successful people say, don't put all your effort into your job, put all your effort into yourself when you get home, with the walks and the runs and the weights and the food and the reading, motivational texts or reading things on finance. Like, don't invest in something, because all you'll do is grow that person's company, but you really want to grow yourself. So yeah, so okay guys, this is a good party. Well, it's only you and I. Let's go. Standing.
It was fun.
It was. So everyone watching, I think next theme, I've already dumped it in the group chat. We're doing breakfast.
Oh, fun. Okay. I like that. I have a new green smoothie to share. So I'm excited.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
And I've got everyone today to take little videos. So I will make a reel of everyone's food that they bought today, so you can see a close-up.
Great.
And thank you so much for all, we've got Barb, Yellow Summer, we've got Koala Mama, we've got Sasha. So many people came along here.
Thank you, guys.
Helene. Yeah, so Tessa there. And I hope everyone has a good day.
Yay. Thanks, Skye. Love you.
You're welcome. Love you too. Love you guys.
Bye.